Welcome to class. In today's class session, we'll be looking at handling purchase order transactions in QuickBooks. So I'll be taking you through a practical guide. And this is also an important aspect of purchase transactions. It's very important for us to have a proper understanding of how to handle purchase order transactions in QuickBooks. So first and foremost, what is a purchase order? A purchase order is a formal document issued by a buyer to a seller. And it is a document that will be outlining specific details of a purchase transaction. Of course, for a purchase transaction, you'll be looking at details like the types of kind of item you want to purchase, the quantities, the prices of the goods, or if it's a service that a buyer wishes to purchase. So the purchase order serves as that written contract between the buyer and the seller, establishing the terms and conditions under which the transaction will also take place. So in today's class, we'll be looking into this. How do you handle the purchase order transactions here in QuickBooks? So the first thing you're going to do is to go to your QuickBooks system. So you can see the QuickBooks system I went to. Now, since it's a practical guide we are looking at, the company name is called XYZ Electronic Store. So we will delve into the practical aspect now using XYZ Electronic Store into practical aspect of handling purchase order transactions here. First and foremost, you must know that for a company like XYZ Electronic Store is actually a retail store. So for such companies, purchase orders play a crucial role in managing the business purchasing processes. And not only that, ensuring accurate inventory tracking. So if that's your objective, then you need to walk through on how to do this. Okay. Now, as a retail store, if you know any other retail store, you will agree with me that they frequently orders inventory from various suppliers so as to be able to replenish the inventory. So we'll do the same here to efficiently manage the same process for XYZ Electronics. So the first thing you need to do, anything purchased in an accounting software goes directly to the supplier and vendor model. Anything purchased, just know that it means dealing with your supplier, dealing with your vendors. Now that you have the understanding, the first thing you need to do whenever you want to handle purchase order transactions is to first of all check, do we have that supplier already captured on the system? Let's assume that the name of the supplier we want to create the purchase order for is called Wale Distribution Nigeria Limited. Wale Distribution Nigeria Limited, a company. So the first thing I will do is to go to the vendor model here. I'll click on it and then click on Vendor Center. Why am I doing this? Is because I want to check, do we have any supplier called Wale Distribution Limited? If yes, I will skip the first step, which is what? To set up your vendor profile. Okay, this is important because let's assume we check there is no supplier data found for Wale Distribution Nigeria Limited. What you then do at that point is to come over here and create a new vendor. So you'll be going to create a new vendor. You then come and put the name of the vendor, fill in other information for payment settings like payment terms, credit limits, and all this additional info, the vendor type. Then you say what? Okay. So that's what you would have done. But since we already have Wale, I will move move forward. That yes, step one of setting up the vendor is completed and achieved. So whether or not you're a business owner or you happen to work for a company as an accountant, you are expected to be conversant with this, because most of the time, for those who will be employed as accountants, if the company have been using the software for years, for some period of years, you're expected to go and check, because it might be that this vendor is a long-term vendor, a vendor that they have been working with for a long time. Companies always maintain databases of their records on Excel file. So if in that case, the vendor happen not to be here, then you know that you're to import that vendor with the transactions also. Okay. So step one achieved. Step two, now that we have the vendor, because setting up the vendor is important due to the fact that you will need those informations when you want to create the purchase order. So let's go to step two. Step two, what are you to do? The next thing you have to do is to create the purchase order. How do you create the purchase order in QuickBooks? I will go back to the home page from the icon section here. Home. I said to create a purchase order, go to vendor model. Come down, you will see this option called create purchase orders. If you want to go through the vendor model, you can come to the center canvas. You see the first center is what? Vendor. So if I'm clicking on purchase order, you can see it has this connected dot line. It's still the same thing. So, but I will walk through vendor model. So vendor model, I'll click on what? Create purchase orders. It will open the create purchase order window. Now you can see my purchase order have a name inside called purchase requisition. So might be, to me, we call it purchase order in our firm. You'll be able to change the name to whatever name you want it to be. All you have to do, come towards this up here, you will see where we have formatting. Click on it. You will see this option called customize data layout. Click on it. So whenever you want to do any customization in your QuickBooks file, that's how to go about it. So I want to change where we have purchase requisition to something called purchase order. So I'll come to the header, because that's a head title. So under default title, I'm going to erase off requisition and then bring in order. That's just how to go about it. So if there's any other information that was displayed as a header you want to change, you can change them here. You can move to columns. You say, okay, let it bring up. You can see all columns information also captured. Same you will do for footer. It's going to bring it up. Then your prints, when you're printing, what should be displayed and what should not be displayed. So once you've done this, you're good to proceed. So once you have done that, remember what we had there was purchase requisition. So since I've changed it from purchase requisition to purchase order for default title, I was expecting by the time I save this, I should find purchase order appear. So let's try that. I'll click on OK. So once I click on OK, you see we now have purchase order. Okay. So once you have been able to locate the create purchase order option, and you've done that and you got in here, the next thing you have to do is to choose the supplier from the drop-down list. There's always a drop-down list here. So who is this supplier I want to purchase from? I will select Wale Distribution Nigeria Limited. Now, if it was a software like Sage 50, it has two categories of its clients. It has client it called the prospect. It has client it called the vendors. Same goes with customers and prospects. Prospects are just those customers you might have captured, those vendors you might have captured, but there have not been any record of transactions, financial dealings, no financial dealings yet with that vendor. It means that vendor is still a prospect. So until you have, entered a financial transaction you want to record down with a particular vendor, with a particular customer, that's when that client can be properly referred. If it's for purchase related, as a what? Vendor. If it is for customer related, or sales related, it is what? Customer. So once you choose the vendor from the vendor list, drop down list, then start to fill in all these items. For example, which item do you want to order from Wale? We'll click on items column. The first line, we click on the drop down button, we'll scroll down and look for the item. Let's say we always purchase stationaries from Wale Distribution Limited. So I'll click stationaries. For the description, I'm going to enter a simple one saying purchase of stationaries. So quantity, how many quantity of this item you want to purchase? So let's say we want to purchase 200 quantity. Now, this is a good example of those items that have no fixed rates, meaning that when you're setting up your inventory items, you can set up items with no fixed rates. You can set up items with no quantity. You can set them up. Then you'll be able to specify, the rates at which the price actually is. So I'm going to add up to more than one item here for this purchase order. So also take note of the purchase order number. It's very important. This is purchase order number 4. So let's go direct to the rates. Let's say the stationaries are sold for 500. So you can see right here, it's bringing up this information here, telling us what? That this window, item cost changed. The current cost, we didn't specify any cost initially. So it was 0. We're now taking it to 500 new cost. So it's asking us, do you want to update the item record? Of course. If you want to update it, fine. If you don't want to, say no. Let it be open to you to specify those rates. So that gives us 100,000 when you're multiplying your quantity to your rates of 500. So same goes under here. We also come to, let's say we're also purchasing a television. They also sell television. So I'll select Hisense TV from the list. So for this, you can see it has a fixed rate at 160,000. So how many quantity do we care for? Let's say we were looking at getting 3 of these televisions. So I'll choose 3 on the quantity so you can see it's captured. So that's what you will do in step 2. That's why we now have total of 580,000. So once you're done with that, if you want to email it to the client, just go ahead here, click email, select purchase order. If you know you want to print it later, that's why it's ticked already for you. If you know you want to, let's say, print this, you come to print, click on the drop down, you see preview, you see purchase order, that's what you select. You want to save it as PDF, it's either you use this save as PDF here, or you go to this normal save. You also see save as PDF under save purchase order. That's how to go about that. If you know that you want to raise 2 of these invoice, this purchase order to same Wale Distribution Limited or to another client, you want to use create a copy. It will create another copy. Now, if you want to keep working with this, maybe this is something that you always create every week. You always send this purchase order. You create and send it to Wale. You don't need to be stressing yourself. You can automate it using Memorize. Make it a Memorize document. So it goes directly to where? It goes to your accountant center. If you come to accountant module, you see accountant center. So if I'm memorizing this, I'll be expecting it to be displayed on my accountant center. So now that I have the items we want to purchase, so I will also memorize. I'll come here, click on memorize. Okay, let's see. So do I want to memorize and add it here or to automate? I say I want to automate it, the transaction entry. So I'll specify the next date and all this information. Once I'm done with that, I'll click OK. That's this section here is you're now expected to look at the frequency at which you always create this order to Wale. So if it is in the next 7 days or always the next 14 days, you specify it here. The next date you raise this again. You say, oh, the next time will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It will be on the 21st. Okay, or on the 21st, Monday. We will do this every Monday. So I'll put Monday here. So how many, automatically it's also going to be able to calculate the number remaining, the number of days remaining. Then we have How often? Is it daily? You say daily. It captures it for you. Is it weekly? You say weekly. Is it twice a month? Say twice a month. You can see twice a month. Next date, subsequent date, twice a month. Is it monthly? You say monthly. You can see monthly. And is it annually? You can say annually. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's how to go about that. Memorize. So, once you click OK, it becomes memorized. So, the next step here to take, which I could call step number 3, is to review and send the purchase order. So, please never you send a purchase order you have not gone through to review, because this is a computer. You may make a mistake somewhere. So, go through it again. You can see iSense TV, there was no description. So here I can say purchase, purchase of TV sets. Okay, so once I'm done with that, I will then click save. But before I do that, there is a column here that is empty called customer column. Now, this is used for engineering companies, construction companies, project management companies. So if you happen to work for a company that is into this field, handling projects for clients or into consulting and all that, this is important as well. Let's assume that Wale Distribution Nigeria Limited is also into project management, and they're actually handling a project for XYZ Electronics Store is also into project management, and they're actually handling a particular event management project for a client who wants to do his wedding, okay, his wedding or birthday celebration. So if we are now arranging the venue, we can say that we need to purchase this material since we don't have it. So we are now coming to say that Wale sells it. So we want to purchase from Wale. So I have to capture those items. Now, the items I am capturing here at this point, looking at this scenario, is not for our own personal use. We are not even reselling it. Instead, we want to use it on a customer's project that we're handling. So since you want to use it to complete a customer's project, you have to select who is that customer, who is that client we are purchasing this thing on behalf, which project. So you come here, select the name of the project, don't select the client. Select the name of the project to also bring the client. That's which is who we are purchasing stationery on behalf of Tango Limited, office complex that we are building for them. Okay, so when you do this, it will be captured so that when they want to make payments, you'll be able to know how to follow it up. And of course, where you are looking into construction, engineering, and all that, you're expected to understand how to use what we call the progress invoicing, because these clients always pays, by week. They want you to send them your invoice so they see what you have done and all that. So since you'll be invoicing them, this will also be captured on that invoice. That on so day you make purchase of this so as to be able to replenish stock at hand. You understand? So once you're done going through the review, you can now send this or save. So to do this quickly, I'm going to come below my screen. You'll see where we have this button called save and close. If you have any vendor message, you type it here, memo, you type it there, you come here and say save and new if you want another one. But if you don't want, you say save and what? Close. You say save anyway. We don't use the class feature. So if you bring this spelling, it could not stationaries. Okay, so what we are going to do is to check what's the correct spelling of stationaries. So come here and say, let's try it with, let's close. Let's go back here. Okay, so you can see when I closed, it took me out. So how do I go back? To go back, you have to come to your vendors again. Click create purchase order. On the window that pops up, come under main option. Click this arrow going back under before find. It will take us to the previous order we opened that we have not yet closed. So to save rather, to save this, click save. Yeah, you can save it. Save purchase order. Or come down, click OK. So that's just the ways to go about it. Or I will come down and click save and close. So with that, I've just saved this purchase order. So the next thing you're now going to do, you've sent the purchase order to the client. They have sent the inventory items. They have invoiced you. They have invoiced you. Now you've received the inventory. How do you record it? Now you must know that when the inventory arrives, what you will do, you know that inventory we are purchasing, let's say it has arrived. What will you do? You have to go back to the vendor center and select this word called, can you see this word called receive what? Items. Received items. Receive inventory. They mean the same thing, receive items. So you'll come here, click on it. And when you click on receive items, remember Wale has sent the products we ordered for. Now, when we click on receive inventory, it brings us to this new window. On this window, what I want to do here is that I want to do a kind of what I could call matching. I want to match the items we have received with the ones we have in the purchase order to be sure that they are correct. They tally so that let it not be that they sent shortage in what they sent. So it calls for proper, proper analysis, a proper check, and all that. So first thing here, that's what I have to do to receive these items. I'm going to come here and select this option that says vendor. So who is the vendor? We say Wale Distribution. It tells me, brings up a notification that open purchase orders exist for this vendor. That you want to receive against one or more of these orders, meaning that there have been an order already opened that is pending. So I will say, do you want to receive against one of them? Yes, because of the previous. So you can see the open ones are available. Remember, the purchase order number we gave, the last one was 4. So it means this is the one we are working with, the order. So you tick it and say, okay. Once you do that, it now captures it here for you to see. So that's how to go about that. So once it captures it, remember this is it. We want to receive it. We said it has been sent. We are now receiving it so that it will update with what we have. Okay, so this becomes the item receipt. You can also move forward to record the payments received. So what do? We come down and click save and close. It's telling us we have not assigned classes. Classes means location. Classes means department. If you want to departmentalize your accounts towards certain cost centers, profit centers, and all that, so as to do a kind of comparisons and trend analysis and all that, you have to provide your class. So to do that, go to edit menu and you'll be able to go about that setup. So I'll say save anyway. Let me be able to save this. So this way we have just received that inventory. So how do we check if it has actually come in? Your report will do that for you. Go to report model, come down to inventory, then go to this option that says under inventory stock status by item. If I click on it, it's going to show me a full breakdown. Which item did we order? We ordered, remember when we entered stationaries. Okay, we also entered items for Hisense TV. So you can see Hisense TV we are now having 21 at hand. So let me double click on it. 21 at hand. Can you see Hisense TV that we have here? 21 at hand. 21 at hand. So you can see where we have purchase orders at 13th August 2023 from Wale Distribution. We purchased 5. 5 plus the 20, previous 21 that was on hand gives us what? 26. So it means that we have 26 available. So the items have actually been received. You want to comment on the report, click comment on reports, then you comment where suitable. So once you have done that, you then proceed to enter bills. Now you have received the item, but you have not made payments to them for that item. Now you're now ready to pay. How do you enter payments, pay bills for items you have received? Now, to pay bills, remember bills in Quickbooks means credits, all those credit transactions you're owing your vendors. So to make the payment, you have to come to vendors. Choose enter bill. Choose enter bill. It brings a new window. Start by selecting who is this vendor. Wale Distribution Limited. It says that open purchase order exists for that vendor. So you are to choose. You say yes. You can see it here. Then we say what? Okay. So once we do that, you can see another open purchase order. I say purchase order that was available here. The previous Hisense TV we bought alone. We said 5 quantity. So right here, we have just captured and tried to reflect that very items that were received from the supplier. So automatically, what now happened when we selected the supplier was that QuickBooks populated the bill with the items and quantities from the purchase order. That's what is displayed here. So how do we go? What do we do next? The next thing is to apply your payments. How do you apply payments? Now you have to first of all create this bill because you can only apply payments when you have created the bill. How do you create your bill? How do you create your bill in QuickBooks? To create your bill in QuickBooks, once you have this window here, come towards the edge here where my cursor is. You're following my cursor. You see this option called maximize your work area. I'll click on it. So it expands it for me. Then I'll be able to click on what? Save and close. Save and close. Take note if it was an engineering company construction, under customer column job, I will specify it there. So I'll say save anyway without that. Then I hit my save. So that's how to enter bill. Now that you've entered bill, the next thing to do is to apply payments. How do you now make payments for the bill you have created? To make payments, come towards the vendor module again, then select this option that says pay bill. Pay bill. Take note of the steps we are going through. Now you want to pay the bill. I'll click pay bills option. Now, it's going to bring up this window. This for all outstanding bills that have not been paid. So I have to sort it out. I have to sort it out by clients. So let's see if there is a way we can do that. We have discounted by vendor, yes. So you can see all the vendors, Mr. Abbas, Verona, Wally. So we want to pay for Wally. Wally have received, we want to pay Wally. So we'll come here, tick on Wally. When we tick, it says we want to pay 800,000 out of 1,000,000. 20,000. So what do I do here? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select, after choosing the pay bill option, I will select the bill I want to pay, which is this last one. I will then enter details, for example, the payment method, dates, and all that. You find them below. You see where we have payment method. Let's say we are paying by credit card. You can also set discounts and others if those were actually given to you. So that's how to go about that. So we'll come here and say pay selected bills. It says please select a check or credit card account from which to pay these bills. So I'm going to go back. There's actually no account created for that. So let me go and change it. So if it's not going back, you can come to accounts and since that is just for the payments method, okay, so we can come and say we want to create an account for credit card. So I'll come down and say save and close. Okay, so let me put that again. It says pay selected bills. Okay, so let's specify create an account. So say add new. Say transfer. So I do that, I'll click save and close. You can see it's captured for the credit card. Those we use transfer payments. So once you're done with this, you can then save. So we come down and we say pay bills and then pay bills. So that bill has now been paid. So this is now the receipt of payment summary. You can also print it and view it. So we say done. So you can see payment has been successfully recorded for the following bill. So I say done. So that's how to go about that. Now that you've understood how to go about that, the next thing you need to do is reconciliation. It's now your duty to come and reconcile the transactions. You reconcile your bank, reconcile your credit card, reconcile your transfer, your POS account regularly to ensure accurate financial records. So it's very important that you understand how things like this have been done. So if you go and check for that client called the client, we go to vendor center, you will notice we have Wale Distribution Company showing us what? It's showing us 580,000, and we need to check to know why we are having the 580,000. So we have our purchase order, we have our purchase order, we have our item receipt, which was actually used to do a kind of a confirmation on that as regards that. So let's go to our home tab. Let's check if there is any money we need to deposit to our bank account. So click record deposit. It's not. So to be sure if that payment has been made, come to banking option here. Click on use register. Now when you click use register, what's name? We don't know. Just click OK. So let's check the statement of account for access. The statement of account for access is this. Okay. So is the statement. Now if you check this statement, there is no transaction of payments made here to that supplier. So we need to cross-check again to reconcile this. It's supposed to be under payment, but there is not. Let's check if it's on the other banks. We have the current savings, which are supposed to display that. Then we also have orders. Let's go down. We also have other ones. Okay. So just take note of the procedure we looked into when trying to handle such case. So I want to check, but these are our general accounts, these are savings and all that. So that payment did not come in because it's 580,000. So what do? We'll go back to find out why in there that client received that payment. So to do that, I'll come to the top and click on this option that says, I'll go back to my vendors. I will select this option that says enter. We have already entered bill for receive items. Now what we want to do is to record payments for that item, because on our chart of accounts it's also being displayed. If you check as vendors, we are owing accounts payables, account payable. So if I'm coming under account balances here, you can see accounts payable, we have 780,000. And you see my right hand side, 780,000. If you double click on it, it will take you telling you that we purchased 580,000, which we have not paid. So the question becomes, how do you make that payment? How do you pay? So let's just go back to your vendor, come down to the option of received items, enter bill for received items and all that, which we said we have already received this. So, but I would like us to go to what's purchase order. Now that we went to purchase order, I want to go back to that previous one. Click this back arrow to take you back and see 580,000 taking us back there. So I want to create a receipt for this. You can come up here, okay? Now because I want to receive these items based on the purchase order, but we have it here telling us what? That the item has been received in full, meaning that we have received the item. But how about we paying that client? Have the client been paid? Have the client been paid? So to pay this client, what I'm going to do, I will just quickly say, let me access that client's account. I'll go back to vendors, vendor center. I'll come and select wallet distribution. I will now check. You can see the last one is captured as an account payable. So I want to pay for it. What I'm going to do, since I want to pay for it, I'll come on that same wallet dashboard. You see this drop down icon that says manage transactions. Manage transactions. So once I click manage transactions, I can now select this option that says bill payments. When I click bill payments, you notice what? That amount is also not here. But once you notice the amount is not here, just know that the amount has been paid. So all you need to do is to go and cross-check which account was it paid to. So you know how to follow it up. So I'll come back to my chart of accounts. I'll come back to my chart of accounts, but I open the account center. Let me select the chart of accounts. Okay, so for the chart of accounts here, you can see we're having transfer payments telling us how much sales we made through transfer. So that's how you set up your POS and other sources of modes of payment. So what I'm looking for here is to check these accounts. We have a separate, okay, we have assets, and all this. So we'll go back home. We say let's look into our banking reports. Or let's go back to that one we entered, we receive items and enter bill. Okay, so you can see they're all available for you to actually do that. So I can also go back here and also click on other options like no, something better I'm looking for. So we'll come back here. So going by the vendor, we are still having 580,000. And we are told that terms is 30 days credit. So that's why it's here. It's recorded that we are owing. Meanwhile, we have already received that transaction captured. So for the managed transactions, we can come back there again. Each time we want to view our items, we want to pay, make our bill payments, our purchase orders, which we can also click. Then if you want to go to Wale Order, you can click on the arrow on that main. So once you're able to do that, you'll be able to go over there. Okay. So now we are told that there is an open balance towards your right of 580,000. So I'll click on it. So I click on it, you can see the opening balance here. Okay. So let me go back to create purchase order. Let me click on this. So you can now record a blank transaction. I don't want this. I actually want to view permission for this. So I'll say I'll cancel this. Since these items have already been captured, you can see from select item receipts, I will select wallet distribution. So you can see received items, saying that these items are received. That bill now have to follow. So let me open that record here. And we'll come and say, okay, you can see that we want to build this, and this was what we did before. So don't forget the processes involved. Once you're done, it will show you paid. If we go back to that previous invoice, you notice what it showed us paid, meaning that it has been cleared out. So this is how to just do and go about your purchase order transaction here in QuickBooks. And of course, it ends to the back end is the report. So you can come and go to vendors and payables. Even purchases report is there. I will say vendor and payables. You also see their summary, their vendor balance summary. So go about those we are owing and see all their balances. Then you know how to go. So at that point, since 580 is good, it's not going to be under income tracker. So go to your home page. We have income tracker on the icon bar and bill tracker. So at that point, you come to bill tracker. Once you open the bill tracker, you then locate that bill. Then you say pay bill here. You process it as pay bill. So let's want to pay this client, Wale, boutique Wale. Then we say pay bill. That's already been paid. So it's 800,000. So thank you. This is what we're going to call it today. So this is how to handle purchase transactions.